Hello, welcome to the Basketball Addicts podcast. The one
Yes,
podcast in the
sir.
world that answers the second most important question in the world is who's the top 10 players of all time?
Exactly.
This season,
Exactly.
if as long as they stay healthy, we're talking about this season, not the past seasons. We're not going to talk about 2007 LeBron, 2008 LeBron. We're not going to talk about like 2012 KD, Warriors KD. We're talking about as presently constructed in the NBA as these players are right now at this moment during the All-Star break as basketball is about to real basketball for you casuals. Go tune in now.
True.
Real basketball is about to start. For these players now, who are the best? Who is the top 10 best? And this is a pretty interesting list. Me and Jason went over this for a list. We talked a little bit about it, and this is going to be just a natural flow of things. So if you guys disagree, disagree. If you guys agree, agree. We'd love to hear from you guys. So with that being said, I'm going to go through this list. You ready to rock, Jay?
Yes.
Let's go. Alrighty. So we have Giannis number 1. We have Luka number 2. Jokic 3. Embiid 4. Tatum 5. Steph 6, LeBron 7, KD 8, Donovan Mitchell 9, and Dame 10. Dame 10. Alrighty. So what we're just gonna do, we're just gonna go ahead and discuss this list, and just natural flow of things, right? So far, me personally, even what we were talking about last night, right? With the whole, I was like, where's LeBron at first? Because we had this, as we're constructing this list, Jason's going through it. We're like, he shows me the list. I'm like, where's LeBron at? LeBron has to be somewhere in here, right? And then we thinking, oh, we have to put LeBron 8. Just natural, right? We're like, oh, we have to put LeBron 8. We're like, I don't know about that, because then I look at the list again and we see Donovan Mitchell, and I tell him like we should put Dame at least 10. Bless you.
Thank you.
Put Dame at least 10, and then I'm thinking like, but is Bron better than KD? And this is where a lot of people will probably go, no. Some people would go, yes. This depends on which side of the spectrum you lean on, because you may think KD is better. You may think Bron is better. I'm of the Bron is better coalition. I would like to say I'm the president of that fan club. And
that's the correct fan club.
It's honestly the correct fan club. So I'm just thinking like, okay, Bron's better. I think that Bron's better. You know why I think Bron is better than KD? I think Bron's better because I believe that he really molds himself to the team that he's a part of, right? And I think we were talking about this last night, was that what makes Bron better than most players on his list is that even though we have him number 7, the reason why he's better than most players is because like he does what the team needs to win. On a team like the Lakers, where he had a bunch of G Leaguers, we saw him average 31 at 38 years old. You know what I mean? Sure. He's breaking the scoring record every time he steps on the floor. He breaks the scoring record more than what is already broken, because he's gonna eventually put it so far out of reach as long as he plays, because he's already broken it. So every point now, every bucket, every three, every free throw counts is a counter toward what the end scoring record will be, because he holds it now. But if he was on a team that was like, so say if, for instance, right, if Anthony Davis became the player we thought he was going to be, right, and he jumps out to superstardom and he allows LeBron to take a backseat, and they never break up that championship team, and they kind of keep it together, and the players kind of work together, build together, LeBron wouldn't have to average 31. He could be a 25, 8 and 8. He could be a 23, 6 and 7. He could be like a 24, like 8 and 9. It's very possible to hit those numbers because he wouldn't have to, because he would just, okay, it's AD's turn. I'm going to take a step back. I don't have to take the scoring load at 38 years old, 37 years old, however old he may be, when he retires, 39 years old, 40, however long he may play. So that's 2 more years to 40. He wouldn't have to take that type of scoring load. So he would mold himself to that team to make sure that team is still successful with him on it. That's why I believe he's better than KD.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I think LeBron's ability, like, I completely agree with you on a winning team. Even I think throughout the rest of the season, I think he'll be averaging near 25, because the Lakers have a good team now.
Yeah,
like D'Lo, Malik Beasley, they'll get points. But the ability to manipulate defenses and his basketball IQ and his passing, right? Those type of things are so much more valuable than the normal fan realizes, right? And that ability to manipulate the defense like that, the way he does it at such an elite level, he does it, allows him to clear a guy who's a better scorer.
Yeah.
KD's the better scorer, sure, right? But there's more things going on here, and I would agree with you. I think LeBron should be, above KD, because of the passing.
Because of the passing,
Manipulation of defense.
We saw the lack of passing during the finals. I mean, not during the finals, but during the first round of the eastern half of the playoffs.
Yeah,
and he got tore apart.
True, exactly.
In Brooklyn, because he couldn't pass out of those double teams. So it's like,
they
were playing really great defense. What player do you want to talk about?
Well, I guess if we're going to talk about Kevin Durant here at 8, I feel like that's the elephant in the room for everybody.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people would have him top 5, top 3. And I feel like I think this list is reflective of our growth of basketball minds since we started this podcast.
Okay.
Day 1 of this podcast, I thought Kevin Durant was a borderline top 5, top 8 basketball player in the game.
Yeah.
I will admit my defeat, and I was completely wrong. Completely wrong.
I remember that.
I thought he was better than Kareem, right? I was telling you all these because of the scoring. Wow, he's such a special scorer, world-class scorer. Kevin Durant. But as your basketball knowledge grows, the value of passing and defense into how much that impacts winning basketball grows.
Yeah.
Right? Once you be able to look past the stats and the guy that's super flashy, you realize how much those things matter. Mm-hmm. And Kevin Durant maybe had a window where he was a great weak side defender for the Warriors, right? He had a window where he was a very good defender for like a few years there, right? So like there's a point in time where he could make the argument, but I don't even have him in my top 10 anymore. Like he's not better than Hakeem. He's not better than Tim Duncan. He's not better than Kevin Garnett. He's not better than David Robinson. Those guys defend, rebound, score, right? And those guys that might score a little less, might have a little less scoring talent, but impact the game more with their passing and their defense, clear him. And there's a ton of these guys, like top 5 guys in the NBA affect the game. They have a second skill that's ridiculous, where their passing is insane. Their defense is insane. Mm-hmm. Or, they attack the basket or draw so much, like Steph draws in so much space and defense, and everybody's got to guard him so far out. Like these things affect the actual basketball game. And I think as our knowledge base has grown, we have grown past just the point scoring, right? Mm-hmm. And Kevin Durant, if you watch him play, he looks a little slower. Defensively, he's not able to beat. He's above average defender now. Like he's slowing down now. He doesn't affect him in the offensive end because he's so ridiculously skilled. But if you watch him play, I can count the amount of times he attacks the basket on one hand. That's just because he's slowing down athletically. So you have to factor that in here, where he's just a one-sided player right now. And he's amazing at his one-sidedness. Is he maybe the most easy bucket of all time, where it's like this guy's ability to score so efficiently everywhere, so skilled? Sure, he could be in this conversation for that. But that doesn't affect winning as much as people really think it does, right? And I feel like as we've grown in our basketball minds, we have learned that a guy like KD, a guy like Melo, aren't as great as we thought when we were watching them. Yeah. Like, I'd rather have Scottie Pippen than Carmelo Anthony. Scottie Pippen never averaged more than 20 points per game, but he's one of the top 5 greatest defenders of all time, and he was a point forward that was a great passer that affected the game in so many more different ways that now, with my basketball knowledge now, I'd be like slamming on the table, there is not a fucking chance that Melo is better than Scottie. Yeah. Because when you have a world-class defender like that affects it so much more than just having some good guy that's a good defender, right? Like, even if we threw out a formula to you, if I said the NBA winning's done by 60% scoring and 25% passing and 15% defense. Well, a guy like Scottie Pippen can't be regulated to the 15%, right? Because his greatness, it just breaks those percentages because he impacts it more than a normal guy could impact defense, right? So, like, basketball is so much more of an eye test and a development of the basketball knowledge set, right? And because of that, Kevin Durant has gone downhill in the way I view him. And it's just because of the gross growth of the basketball mind that we both have had just by watching games, doing research, all that type of stuff. So Kevin Durant right now is 8. There's so many guys that do so many great things right now. And a lot of complete basketball players here. So KD is 8 because of that. That's my KD take.
That's your KD take? Okay, so that's very interesting, right? Because as you're talking, right, and I know we kind of, toward the end, we did this list together, and I kind of was like, okay, that's fine. But as you're talking, I'm thinking in my head, like, could it be that if you are so exceptional at that one specific skill that it can go above having 2 skills? Like a LeBron, he can penetrate, bring a lot of attention, pass really well, and elevate the team. Steph brings a lot of attention, can score really well, but KD just scores at such a high level. Do you think that could really elevate him in a sense? The fact that even though he can't pass, even though he can't play defense, but the scoring level he can hit by himself. Do you think that would elevate him past an upper list like this one?
No.
No.
Not at all. I understand what you're trying to say. I understand it's a good point, but I feel like he already has, right? I feel like when we talk about all time, he's over some guys that like don't bring other things to the table. And the reason why is scoring points on a good team that we're trying to win rings isn't as big of a deal as the other things, right? So I really think that I feel like that's a good point, right? But I think that when we talk about this list and the guys that are above him, the gap. Okay, let me try to explain this. If Kevin Durant, let's say at his best, if he's just letting it flow, maybe he averages 32, 33, 35 a game, right? But Giannis is averaging 33, and he can do what he does passing wise and what he does defending wise. Like if the difference there is a minute, like not that big, then this guy gets passed, right? Because of the passing and the defense, it adds up. You know what I mean? So I feel like that's a good point. But I would say that, I feel like KD already gets that respect, right? Like for a second there, he was the number 2 player, second best player in the game, where he was a pretty good defender and he was a world-class scorer. And, I feel like he already gets uplifted because of that, correctly so. And I feel like your point is correct, right? But I feel like pushing him any more farther than what's a realistic view of how basketball is played, like in the top 5 all time, like I used to do. Yeah. I was one of these guys, right? So, KD, I feel like KD it's a good point, but there's so many guys in the NBA right now that do more.
Yeah. Oh, I can see your point. I was just asking, because I was just like,
no, it's okay.
Just like, just the level.
It's a podcast. We could disagree, Chris.
Right, the level. Just the level of scoring, that output that he could hit. You know what I mean? But you're absolutely right. He already has been elevated because of his scoring. But then you look at but in your case, I would say, and in many other cases, and I would say even in mine, because I agree with him being an 8, but I just wanted to just, say that. Is that when you look at the totality of the player, the overall player, the entire player, it's not much else but scoring there anymore. So you kind of do have to move him down the list because you look at it like, well, you can drop 40, but like everything, you're not like a plus on the court unless you're scoring. So it's like,
yeah, true.
Which I get.
True. Yeah, you're right. Alrighty. All right. Do you want to go from the bottom of the list here? Or do you want to start talking some of the top guys?
I want to start talking with some of the top guys. I was thinking about Giannis.
Okay, you want to talk about number 1? Okay.
Yeah, the Greek Freak.
Okay.
And I feel like we may have similar thoughts as to why he's number 1. Because I honestly think like this is a very weird list for me because I'm a big LeBron fan. So if LeBron's not number 1, I'm looking at it very weird. But I'm just saying, at this point in time in the season, I would say that Giannis is the best player in the league. He is, without a doubt.
Yeah.
I think it's his ability, right, to really change the game. This is a guy who has changed the game so much. Like Steph, like Bron, the great players change the game, the way the game of basketball is played tremendously. Giannis is one of those players. I used to call him Giannis run, jump, dunk onto the Kumpo because that's all he used to do, right? But he plays defense well. You know what I mean? He can pass as well now. You know what I mean? He learned, he was able to pass. He can bring the ball up. There's a lot of more faith in him with the ball in his hands. You know what I mean? I used to be like, oh, all he does is just run, jump, and dunk. But he does it. It's kind of like, it's the KD effect, but not the KD effect because he's not really doing jumpers and like crossing people up and stuff like that. Not really. But I would say, with that being said, it's more like a dominance thing. I think that's the perfect word to use. Dominance. It's dominance when he has the ball in his hand that you just can't stop him. The best you can do is foul him and then he misses a free throw. But he's still going to come back down and dunk all over your head and you can do absolutely nothing about it. There's nothing that you can do when he's coming. He's like, think of it this way, right? And I like to use LeBron as a comparison. This is his best player. Imagine 6'9", 250, young LeBron, right? Coming at you full speed like a gazelle. You're moving out the way. You're not taking that charge. Same thing with Giannis. Giannis is like 6'11", probably like 250, 270. You know what I mean? He's coming at you, jacked, built of granite, coming at you full speed. You're not taking that charge. So you let whatever he wants to do to you happen. You let it happen. Yeah. You take your L and he drops 40 on your head and embarrasses you. And you let that happen. That's just the level of dominance that makes him dominate the list. When I say, like, when we do the list like this, this is some place where I might lose some people. But when I put the list like this, and I see a list like this where Giannis is at the top, and I'm talking about his dominance, I would say that he's not super far away, but once that jumper starts falling just a little bit, it doesn't have to be. I wouldn't even say 50%. I would give 40% of the jumper falling, just a mid-range, something so somebody can be afraid of. This list, it starts looking like he's at the top of the ladder, and everybody's like on the seventh rung of the ladder, because that's just the level of dominance that he has. So, like I said, you guys may not agree, right? Jason may not agree. Somebody else may not agree, right? But I just believe that at the top of the list is Giannis, and there's no debate. There's nobody else who deserves to be on the top of that list at this point in time in basketball.
Exactly. Yeah, when it comes down to the number one player in the NBA, Giannis Antetokounmpo, I feel like it comes down to the amount of ways that he affects the basketball game is countless. I mean, we want to talk about Giannis, 3-point shooting. He can't shoot threes. Okay, well, neither could Michael Jordan, but you probably think he's the best player of all time by a gazillion miles, so get the fuck out of here, okay? All right, get the fuck out of here. Kobe wasn't the best 3-point shooter. LeBron James has better 3-point shooting percentage, even though you want to hate on him. Get the fuck out of here. He doesn't need to shoot threes. He doesn't. He does not. Okay, this is why Giannis he's partially part of the evolution in the NBA, where it's the handle at the power forward position has caused great players like this to pop up, and Giannis' ability to handle and take people and all the way to the rim and finish makes him unstoppable. He has an unstoppable force in his game, which is the ability to attack the rim. And he used to be stoppable in the playoffs with gimmicky defenses, but that doesn't impact him anymore because his intelligence. He's so highly intelligent. He knows how to make good passes. He affects the game passing wise. He is a good passer. People don't understand basketball if you don't don't think Giannis is a good passer. I'm so sorry, you're stupid. He's also a DPOY candidate every year. He could have top 3 defender in the league for the past 5 years. Like, he's guards every single position. He point guards doesn't matter. Centers don't matter. Great shot blocker at the rim. He's a great on-ball defender. Doesn't have tight hips. He can literally do everything defensively. He's everywhere defensively. He's insane. It's ridiculous. He a top 10 defender of all time. He's in that list, right? Like, this guy's special defensively, and he's special at scoring the basketball. Oh my God! He said somebody that can't shoot is a great scorer.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll tell that to the fact that this guy's averaged about 30 a game for the past 3 years. Scoring the basketball doesn't just have to be in the way that you're able to shoot a beautiful fadeaway, and that's just so valuable. Ooh, ah. Okay, this guy's ability he's a great scorer of the basketball. He just does it in a way that is boring to you casual fans.
Yeah.
Okay, but his force and his magnetic ability to draw so much attention at the rim also factors into his greatness. Okay, so you put all those things together, and he's a ridiculous rebounder, like 12, 13 rebounds a game. He's also a great leader. He's also a great, like, basketball IQ guy. Like, he's everything. Giannis is everything. And Giannis's greatness is a guy that can be a top 10 player of all time.
Yes.
And people want to talk about, like, a non-shooter. He's a power forward, okay? Did Tim Duncan shoot threes? No. Did Kevin Garnett shoot threes? No. Right? One, and secondly, best power forward of all time, it's a walk. That's a free throw. Not for Giannis, for, like, fucking Steph Curry. This guy is going to be the best power forward of all time. If he retired 2 years from now, I would be like, he is the best power forward of all time. Because he rebounds on the level of a Tim Duncan, of a level of Kevin Garnett. He defends on the level of a Tim Duncan, on the level of Kevin Garnett. Those guys were ridiculous defensively. He scores on the level of them. He does. Yeah. But you know what they don't do? They don't pass like he does. And that is where he will gain the edge. This guy is going to be a top 10 player of all time. This is what it looks like when a top 10 player of all time is playing, where it's like, damn, he's great at this. Damn, he's great at that. Magic's, oh my God, best passer of all time. How do you even calculate that? How do you put that into a percentage point? How much Magic's passing ability? Like, this guy's like this kind of guy, where he's ridiculous. And also, Kobe, all you Kobe fans, Giannis is a better player than Kobe Bryant all time. Oh my God! He said Giannis is a better. Okay, well, is he a better scorer than Kobe Bryant? No. Is it close? Is it maybe if we had to do 2K ratings, we just did scoring again? This guy averages 30 a game every year. It would be like Kobe gets a 98 in 2K, and this guy gets a 95. But he rebounds way better than Kobe could ever do. He defends way better than Kobe ever could do because of multiple positions he defends. And he's a better passer than Kobe Bryant. So yes, he's a better player, right? Oh my gosh, he said something so controversial. Kobe Bryant, all you Kobe Bryant fans out there, that's the most toxic fan base in the world. You don't understand basketball. He's not a top 5 player in the NBA all time. Okay, this guy could be pushing top 5-ish. Okay, like that's how special he is. Like Kareem, like Kareem's a great scorer, great defender, great rebounder, but he doesn't pass like Giannis. So it's like it's gonna be a conversation. He's gonna be in the conversation with a Kareem, with a Shaq, with a Larry Bird, with a Magic Johnson. I don't think he can break into the LeBron MJ club and Wilt club, but this guy is beyond special, and he's very underrated because people are so bored. He can't shoot a 3. He does the same thing every time. Okay, well, Shaq did it, but for some reason you loved him. So he did the same thing. Shaq did the same exact thing every time. Okay, so this is dominance at an extremely high level that for some reason, I don't know if he's European, I don't know what he smiles too much, too happy of a dude, all right? But this is the guy, okay? This guy is beyond dominant. Giannis is number 1, and it's not even close. Not even close.
maybe it's just that, because that's a good thing. You said Shaq did it, right? And I think maybe it's just because Giannis is just a bit more humble. Shaq was kind of in your face about it.
True.
So maybe that's what it is. Maybe people don't like the nice guy, but Giannis is a nice guy who will really get on the basketball court, turn into a monster, and cuss out your mom.
Yes. Like, I mean, his ring.
Yeah.
Hello, his ring was carrying nobody that averaged more than 20 a game on that team, right?
True.
Chris Middleton's borderline, right? Drew Holiday's borderline. Does he have a good team and good defenders? Yeah, but let's be honest here. This team is nowhere close to Shaq and Kobe. Nowhere close to Magic and Kareem and Worthy and all those great teams of the 80s. No, this is Giannis carrying these motherfuckers because he's ridiculous.
Yes.
It's Giannis. It's Giannis. Giannis number one.
He's carrying, but he has a great team of role players.
Yes. Yeah, true. Well-built team. Well-built team.
Definitely well-built team. All right, Jay, your turn.
All right. I feel like we got to give number 10 some love here. I feel like Damian Lillard. Now, there's a lot of guys at the edge of this list here where it could have been Ja. It could have been, Zion. It could have been Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. But Dame, first thing first, is averaging 31 this year, which is ridiculous. The reason why Dame clears some of these guys, and this season, we're not taking their career into this put, is his ability to shot create from the three-point line and cause so much gravitational pull on the defense makes it everybody for everybody else. That never goes into the stat sheet. Also, he's a good passer, right? Like 7.2 assists a game. Like, he's a good passer. He really understands the game. He used to be just like above average passer at the point guard position, but now he's aging. He's able to manipulate defenses more. Now, is he a great defender? No. But is he a terrible defender like Luka and Nikola Jokic? No. He's an average dude at defending. Right, but his ability to get to the rim, his ability to, do both of those things. He's such an efficient basketball player in the way he plays. He's also a phenomenal leader as well. So I feel like Dame gets it here because of how special his three-point shot creation is and how much gravity that pulls to him really puts him here at 10. So that's what I think of Dame here. What do you think about Dame?
So I would agree with that, right? But my take is a bit different, right?
Okay.
So I'm of the belief, and like I said, some people may or may not agree, right? But the only reason that we overlook Dame so much is because Steph Curry is in the league.
Good point.
That's literally it. In my opinion, if Steph retired and Dame had 5 more years, Dame would be the best point guard in the league at that point. That's the only reason he could constantly overlooked is because if you look at it, Dame had CJ McCollum. They weren't the best team, but he was the best player on that team. Steph, best player on the Golden State Warriors at the time, averaging similar numbers. You know what I mean? The only reason that Dame never got an MVP is because literally Steph is in the league. The only reason that Dame never gets a championship is because literally Steph is in the league. The fact that he will never be an all-star starter is because Steph is in the league. They because you look at it and they're just so similar, but Steph just does something just a bit better, and it pulls him right above Dame, and that's literally it. Dame, in my opinion, like I said, is the second best point guard in the league, hands down. There is no discussion there.
Right now?
Well, not right now. Luka will be that. But
okay, talking about back when he was the guy.
Yeah, back when he was the guy. Pre-Luka. Yeah, pre-Luka's second best. Thank you for that, because I was definitely about to go on a tangent there. Now I got to switch it up because I was second best point guard in the league. You know what I mean? At that time when he was the guy, and he just doesn't get enough love at all. Because he came in, you know what I mean, being hyper athletic, being like a Russ or whatever, you know what I mean, but he could pass, and then he was shooting. Then he extended his range like to the volleyball line. I mean, like every year this guy gets better and you see more out of him. But then he just it's just that Steph thing right there. It's just Steph is holding him back, and he hasn't been able to jump over Steph. So that's why I say like he's 10. Because I just think that he just overlooked. That was one of the reasons, because I saw it on your list and we were talking about it last night, and I was just like, he's like so overlooked. So overlooked.
Very true. He is. He is. You're right,
Yeah.
Chris. He really is overlooked. Yeah. Alrighty.
I'm gonna go Tatum.
Oh, okay. Tatum
Jason
5.
Tatum. Yeah, I went
Jason
5.
Tatum 5. Okay.
Jason Tatum at number 5. Jason Tatum, right? He's one of those players that he was immediately special.
Facts.
That Boston team, let's go back for a second. The Boston team that that he was on when he was young, and then they had Jaylen Brown, they had Marcus Smart. Remember, they took that Cavs team to like 6 or 7.
Terry Rozier.
They took that Cavs team to 6 or 7 after Kyrie left Cleveland, went to Boston, got hurt, and did not perform in the playoffs. So they had to put out all of their young stars, their up and coming stars, and they took that team to 7. This is one of those guys that you look at the draft, and you go, he was the steal of the draft. Because why didn't he go number 1? What did Philly see that they missed? And now they're eating sour grapes forever because they ended up with Markelle Fultz. And they thought this completed the process when you could have had Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Right? So taking that skinny guy, right? Fresh-eyed in the NBA, to now, and what he was... This guy could not defend at the beginning. I don't know what Ime went in his ear and was like, psst, 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 you got to defend or something like that because the girls watch. I don't know what he said to him.
Yeah. True.
But he became a world-class defender overnight.
Exactly.
And then here's the thing, right? So because of the fact that he became a world-class defender, he got all these guys to buy into defense, Ime Udoka, the stars, Jaylen Brown, having to buy into defense, especially Jason Tatum. This is why he jumps over KD, is because when you look at it, they're very similar players, right? True. KD may be a bit taller, right? But the reason why we can have Jason Tatum 5 above KD, and some people may not agree with this, is because they can both hit the same scoring output. We've seen it happen. 40-40, 50-50. We've seen it. They can hit the same scoring output, and they'll reach. And they'll be close. They'll be neck and neck. But then you look at Jason Tatum, he goes, oh, I'm getting a steal. Oh, I can read the passing lanes. Oh, I can grab this rebound. Oh, you want to try to pass that? I got it. I'm going down the court. Once you look at I can defend the best player on the court. Once you look at that, then you're like, wait a second. They're not the same player. That's where the difference sets in, and that's where Jason Tatum pulls ahead.
Yeah.
It's not the scoring. Because if it's scoring, they'll be neck and neck. We can do 7 and 8, and Jason Tatum and KD could be right next to each other. Or 8 and 9, however you want to put it. Right? But the scoring, the defensive aspect of Jason Tatum is what pulls him ahead of KD and separates them.
Exactly.
And that's why he's 5.
Yeah. Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Jason Tatum, it's because he used to be such a highly negative on defense, and people used to talk about his inefficiency scoring-wise so much, that I feel like now, because of all those narratives have been said about Jason Tatum, now people are a little delayed on accepting the fact that Jason Tatum's the best small forward in the NBA.
Yeah.
And it's because he did take a... You're completely right. With Ime Udoka, he took a complete 180 defensively. And if you have good eyes and you can watch basketball and you can understand basketball and what's a good defender and what's not a good defender and the difference between the two, you'll be able to notice the difference. Now, there's still some people, even to this day, I see comments on TikTok, blah, 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 blah. Jason Tatum is not a good defender. Kevin Durant's a better defender. You don't know basketball. You don't watch the game, right? Jason Tatum is so amazing at one-shot creation. He's just an amazing shot creator, every level of the floor, no flaws in his game scoring-wise. He's not a great passer, but he's also not a susceptible to turnover passer. You know what I mean? Like, he is at least enough basketball intelligence to make an average pass, right? And I feel like that just clears him, and that defense is special. And you're right. It's like Ime spoke into the ear, but it's. I feel like the classic example of this is Andrew Wiggins. Andrew Wiggins wasn't required to defend. in Minnesota. People were like, oh, he's such an inefficient basketball player. He can't defend. He sucks. Well, he wasn't required to defend, wasn't taught how to defend. He goes to Golden State, one of the best small forward defenders in the league. Oh my God, watch him defend Jason Tatum, right? Holy shit, he's good at doing defense.
Right.
Right? Like, there's people that are athletic enough to be great defenders. Zach LaVine is a great example of this. Zach LaVine's athletic enough to be a phenomenal defender, but he isn't required to. You know what I mean? So that's what Jason Tatum is, and you're right. Top 5 small forward defender in the NBA, Jason Tatum's got to be in the conversation for that list. And when you add that to the scoring, that's why he's 5. Right? Like, he impacts the game so well, both sides of the floor. Couldn't agree with you more here. Jason Tatum's 5.
Alrighty. You're up. You're up.
Well, this is a great transition, because from one guy that used not to defend to another guy that used to not defend, Donovan Mitchell.
I knew it. Oh, wait, what? Mitchell. Wow, I was not expecting
Donovan Mitchell's number 9 on this list, and he's the best 2 guard in the NBA. It's not even close. Let me tell you why. Okay, 1, he's a phenomenal scorer. Can get to the rim, can finish, shot create from every level. He's really a tough shot creator, which makes more of an impact on the playoffs, right? We see what he does every year. But it used to be like, oh, man, he sucks at defense. All that chatter Rudy Gobert used to do to him, right? Mm-hmm. And he's a great passer as well. He's one of the better 2-guard passers in the league, like top 5 legitimately. He improves his team with his passing ability, and he always had that in Utah too. But now, just like Ime, just getting into the ear of Jason Tatum, JB Bickerstaff, who I think should win Coach of the Year, so you probably do too, got in Donovan Mitchell's ear. Donovan Mitchell is an impressive defender now. 1, he has a great body for defense. He's so fucking strong. I mean, he's got muscles on muscles, dude. So bulky for like 6'4", and he gets into it. He's engaged. He has great stance. He's a great on-ball defender. He really understands how to use his strength defensively, which is his strength. He has a good wingspan. Even in college, he was known as defender. Like, people thought, like, oh, this guy's gonna be able to defend at the next level. Like, yeah, he's a lot of gifts for defending the 2-guard position. And again, one of the first play that I will never forget for the rest of my life that made me learn that Donovan Mitchell is a good defender. So when they're playing the Boston Celtics, Jason Tatum's bringing up the ball, trying to get a nice fast break, and Donovan Mitchell gets into his space and forces him all the way to the edge of basically the floor, all the way to the sideline to make a terrible pass to another place, because he was so engaged defensively against a guy that we have number 5, right? Like, those examples never could have been found in the past. But this guy, top 5, top 10 best 2-guard defender in the league now, yes, right? And you got to get past the narratives, use your eyes. You'll see what I see. Like, everybody in Cleveland defends now. And Donovan Mitchell, man, him more than just scoring, that's why he's better than a guy like Devin Booker or Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown's a hell of a defender too, but
yes,
his passing, his defense, all rounded together creates the best 2-guard in the NBA and creates the 9th best player in the NBA.
Okay. That's not the player I thought you were going to choose when you were talking about doesn't defend, right? I was thinking of a different player, but I'm kind of surprised you chose Donovan Mitchell, but then not at the same time. Because I agree. I would say that, when it comes to the list of shooting guards in the NBA, only me personally, just not being biased and a Cleveland fan, because I agree with the list. But, on the other side, I'm like, Jaylen Brown's pretty decent. But we're talking about Donovan Mitchell right now. So I would say that it's what he was able to do with the young team, right? He's a young player as well. And that coach, you know what I mean? Everybody bought into that coach, right? Without a doubt. But I'm feeling like Donovan Mitchell bought in a little bit more, because he became the guy. Completely the guy over there.
Right.
And he has this level that he can reach that he is creeping up on constantly. And I'll say this. A lot of people talk about, like, there's no guys in the league, you know what I mean, who shows, like, true, I would say, kind of old school, right? An old school feel to them, right?
Kind of know where you're going with this. Yeah.
I think that Donovan Mitchell has that old school feel to him. I feel like he's kind of rough and rugged. I feel like he has that it's me or nothing type of mentality. Because I've seen him take over games and really put a whole team on his back. Think about this for a second. It was a couple games back before the All-Star break, right? We were playing the Grizzlies, I think it was, and he got into the scuffle with Dylan Brooks.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep. He has that dog in him.
He has that dog in him, like dog.
Yep.
And then there was another game I think I was watching, right? I have a place I'm going with this. Give me a second. Then there was another team, right, that they were playing, and I think that they said something to him, and they started chattering back and forth, and he dropped 15 straight points after that, and won them the game. They could nothing else they could do. But what I'm saying is, it's just he has that old school kind of basketball feel to Donovan Mitchell, which a lot of old heads can be like, I kind of like that player. You know, like I can see some old school, like I can see old school basketball rearing its head in Donovan Mitchell, especially because he was able to, like, I don't even know how this happened, but that fight he had with Dylan Brooks, and this is not a reason for him being 9, right? But I'm just talking about him now at this point. Reason that fight, it really energized and charged the entire team to go on a winning streak. I don't know what happened, but they started playing with such an edge and a chip on the shoulder after that they just became like a totally different team. And this is just what Donovan Mitchell brings to the table. So what we say is, like, you know, KD scoring output may be higher than Donovan Mitchell, right? Donovan Mitchell scores at a high level, and he also can bring it on defense. Exactly, right? You know, he's bought into that kind of defensive scheme. But then he also has this dog, period. I'm going to say it. He also has this dog in him that also, like, wow. You're like, some players just don't. It's either you have it or you don't. And Donovan Mitchell has it. I think that this is one player that he may be 9 now, but he will eventually move up this list.
I could agree.
Just because of the caliber of player that I can see him becoming.
Yeah.
Because he has a peak, and he hasn't peaked yet in my eyes. I feel like Utah might have been was holding him back. And I think that it's just a change of scenery, change of coaching staff, change of teammates. He's really bought into the city of Cleveland and everything we have to offer here. Yeah. And I think in the entire organization, I feel like this is the place that he'll end up staying, and he'll win a ring here. He'll win a ring here.
I agree. I really do agree. I think this team's got a lot of potential moving forward. Everybody's young, and I'll agree with the Utah thing, because I think part of the reason why he didn't defend is he was the only shot creator, right? Yeah. Like he's got to score everything, and if he does it, they lose. Okay, and the defensive scheme's built around Rudy. I can chill. You know what I mean? I'm gonna chill on defense, and I'll attack offensively and do my thing. But in Cleveland, he's got Darius Garland, he's got Karis LeVert, Evan Mobley can get a bucket. You know what I mean? Like there's more guys than just him. Yeah. So Donovan Mitchell can be a top 10 shooting guard of all time.
Yeah,
he can be one of those guys. I don't know about being better than maybe D Wade or Kobe or MJ, but maybe just below. I could see that. I can see that.
I can see that. He has this weird nothing. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Is you're next? You're next.
Oh, so I'm gonna pick the player that I thought Jason would pick.
Okay.
Luka Doncic. When you said from one player who started defending to another, I was sure you were picking Luka.
Okay. Let's hear you talk about Luka, Chris. Number 2.
So, Luka, right? Number 2, Giannis, number 1.
Such a talent.
And all I can say, and this is for you old heads out there, Magic and Bird.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Magic and Bird.
Yeah.
That's all I can say, is that when it comes to future of this league and where the league is going and how the league is currently constructed, 1 and 2, Giannis, Luka, Magic, Bird. I think that there is no better comparison for those two than those two. Because just at the way they play, I think that Luka has been dealt a bad hand of cards, right? Team-wise. Owner wise, he has aces, but team wise, they're figuring it out. You know, the best thing he has right now is Kyrie going for him. You know, but I think that like just player wise, you know, taking teams out of it for Giannis and for Luka, right? Taking teams out of it. I think they're jockeying more so as an overall player for that number one position than people think. I feel like it, and eventually what's going to happen is that it's going to be Giannis, Luka, and then everybody else is going to be like further down the ladder because they're just going to hit a point and a stride where they'll just be so far ahead and so far above all the other players in the league. And I think that's what we're going to it right now. So talking about Luka has always been like the slow, methodical player, right? You know, we're always like, oh, he doesn't play defense, you know. He's coming into like being an okay defender, not really a great defender at this point, but he's still just, you know, we know that there's a certain scoring level. And when we talk about this kind of old school dog in him, like I was talking about with like Donovan Mitchell, oh, he has that dog. He has that old school feel to him. There's so many times where you're like, where Luka has basically been, where Luka has literally carried a team of nobody to so much. I mean, I don't know if it's just his, okay, I'm going to win no matter what. I don't know if it's a scoring output and potential and what he's able to do on the court. I don't even know how he's not even mentioned as, he should be mentioned way more than he is because he's just on that, he's just that caliber of player. And for him to come in and immediately have instant impact and start dominating a league that people have been in for years, it's very like kind of, I wouldn't say weird, but I'm just saying it's kind of like perfect. For lack of a better word, I feel like it's like perfect. I feel like this was how it was supposed to be. I mean, like having that European edge, because European basketball right now is very different than the NBA. And
the top 4 guys in this list were not born in America.
Yes,
let's just say that.
That should tell you a lot. That should tell you a lot there. That should tell you a lot. And Luke is just that type of is just that player. He's just that when it comes to 1 and 2, and I'll say this one more time, is that it could go either way. I feel if you want to, if you know, for those players who were like, oh well, Giannis got a ring, so he's clearly number 1 over Luka, and take rings out of it, I feel like they're more so switchable with 1 and 2 than what people would think. I feel like Luka could be 1, Giannis could be 2, or you could do Giannis 1, Luka 2. But I feel like it changes as the year goes on. So that's why I see. Like I can understand him being at 2, but I'm saying like it's more interchangeable than people may think.
He does have a glaring weakness, which is defense, right? Like he tries more defensively now than he used to. And, you know, he feels like you see him in interviews like, I play defense, I swear. Like, he really does try more, but he is just so slow. He's so tight-hip. That's just he's never going to be more than an average defender in the NBA. It's going to be impossible, okay? But his effect on the offensive end is ridiculous. I mean, his scoring level is so ridiculously high. The tough shot creation translates so well to the playoffs. We've seen it so many gosh darn times. And he's so high level at that, and he's so much gravitational pull at that. And, okay, well, if it was just that, he'd be low on this list, but the passing is where, like, this guy's a top 5 passer in the league. His ability to manipulate defenses at so fucking young. The basketball IQ is insane. His ability to manipulate defense is insanely high. And you put those 2 things in together, and you get that second best player in the NBA. And it's to be able to overcome his extreme weakness defensively. But that passing does so much more than what people can really realize. And it makes him unguardable. And Luka's too, man. You know, and all these top 4 guys do more than just buckets, right? The game has kind of grown past that with these top guys. Alrighty. Is it my turn to pick?
Yes, sir.
My turn.
Yeah.
I love all these guys, but you know, let's go 6 Steph. Let's go 6 Steph, and we can leave the center debate for last.
Okay.
6, Steph Curry is, again, just like Damian Lillard, we mentioned earlier in the podcast, his ability to shot create from so deep out is ridiculous, okay? His ability to do that is insane. And that gravitational pull that everybody should know by now of just deep threes, his gravitational pull when he's off ball, right? He's the best off ball mover in the league, and combined with his shot creation from the 3-point was either him or Clay. But his ability to just find space on the floor is ridiculous. Like you think he's over there on the left side, and he just becomes right side, and there's this open spot in the right corner that nobody in the rest of the NBA could see that and run to that, and then hit that fading away to the right. Like, he does so many more things than just his shot creation from the 3-point line, which makes him even more ridiculous. He's also a very good passer. People underrate his passing. It's just the system and the Draymond Greenness leads people to think he's a bit worse passer than what he is. People don't know that before Draymond Green got there and before Steve Kerr got there, and he was running at high levels of pick and roll, he was averaging 8 assists a game, okay? Right before Steve Kerr gets there. Like, people don't really remember that, but he really has it like that. He's a high basketball IQ player, average defender, but brings the intensity, right, defensively. And his stamina and ability to run forever is also a skill, right? It affects the defender because it's like, I can't. Nobody runs like him, right? He's I'll say it a million times. He's like a distance runner, like an elite, like miler in the NBA. That's basically what he is. And a lot of people, I've heard a lot of talk about, like, in the 80s, he would average 18 a game because we would lean on him. Okay, you guys are fucking dumb. Okay, look. Every guard in the NBA right now watched Allen Iverson. What did Allen Iverson do? You try to hand check him. You can't put your hands on him because he's fucking moving side to side. Okay, the hand check doesn't affect these kind of guards. Steph has a world-class handle. Trust me, if you tried to touch Steph, I dare anybody. Go make your friend move side to side laterally and try to touch their hip. I fucking dare you. Won't touch it unless if they know how to move. You won't have a chance, especially elite athletes. Go up to one of your elite athlete friends and try to touch their hip moving side to side. You have no chance. And that's how every guard handles in the NBA. Everybody saw AI. Okay, we're going to do what AI does. Now everybody does that now, right? Like, it's not working, okay? Yeah, it's not working. Steph is every era he could dominate. I don't want to hear it. He would have been thrown to the ground. Oh, well, you threw Isaiah Thomas to the ground, who's smaller than him, but for some reason he dominated the era. Okay, get the fuck out of here with that bullshit, okay? There's smaller players that dominate the era than Steph, okay? So I don't want to hear it. So, Steph 6 right now. What do you think, Chris?
I agree. Steph is a special player. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he's one of those guys who really revolutionized the game of basketball to the extent where all we see is Steph Curry every time. If you turn on any other team, you don't have to watch the Golden State Warriors. You watch any team and you'll see Golden State offense. You'll see Golden State offense. You'll see 100 threes being jacked up the entire game, and people were like, he ruined the game of basketball. I think he made the game better. Why do I think he made the game better? Look at what just happened. Sacramento and the Clippers. 164 points in 2 overtimes. Think about that for a second. If that's not a direct correlation of the Steph effect on the league, then I don't know what is. Because you shooting more threes are higher than 2s, you're going to score more points. Yeah. You're going to make the game better. Because you can't just stand in the corner and shoot a 3. Some people do. But now you have these elite shot creators that came out of this who can cross, who's a point guard who's crossing up these big men and just making them look foolish. Like, you have the Kyries, remember how he made Chris Paul do the whip? I don't remember that.
Yeah, he got him with the behind the back dribble, and he
got him with behind the back dribble. Like, being these flashy handle is back. The celebration is back. The game is fun now. You know what I mean? Like, how many times have we seen Steph, right? You know what I mean? And just like, maybe I'll say it to his MVP year, like, shoot the ball, turn his back, and just walk down the court, and he already knows it's going in. It's just like, what can you do? This is the caliber of player, the type of player, and how he has increased the incitement of the NBA. You know what I mean? Like, he has done nothing but great things for the evolution and the revolution of the game. And I can understand him being 6 because of what he has been able to do this year as well. I mean, like considering, he had an injury, early on, it was out for a bit. But before that, I mean, not the team was playing great, but him individually was playing great. He's always been playing great. So it's like, as you look at the list, you see who's 5, you see who's 4, you know what I mean? 3 and 2. You can kind of see why he moved down because we're not looking at the entire thing. We're just looking at how he is presently in this current league at this very moment.
Yeah.
So I was saying, like, hey, Steph revolutionized the game, and he's a great basketball player, so I can understand him being 6. He causes so much magnetism, and he's like mastered the 3-point shot. So now you just see his offense everywhere. You see the Curry offense everywhere.
Yeah. Okay. All right, Chris. Which one of the last 2 centers you want to choose? You talk about first.
You should know this already. I'm going with the Denver Nuggets, Jokic.
Yes. Okay. Number 3.
Alrighty. Number 3, Jokic. Everybody talks about Jokic, right? He's won a back-to-back MVP. He might win another one. It's kind of crazy, but it's not. If you think about what he's able to accomplish on the floor and the type of player that he is, then you would understand that it's getting boring with him winning it. But he just makes that team so much better. He's so valuable to that team that if he wasn't on that team, then the team would not look like the team it does now. Considering that you have lost, Jamal Murray. He's playing better, but he's not. We haven't seen that level of Jamal Murray that I'm used to yet. And for this team to still be a number 1 seed in the West is ridiculous.
Yeah.
He does so many great things on the court. That high pick and roll has been brought back due to Jokic and Jamal Murray's combination, and the fact that Jokic, a big man, a center, who should just, and if you want to talk about old school days, who should just to go back down low and just get the ball and feed in the post all day. But he is not the most dominant big, but he's the most skilled big in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And how I say this, definitely the most skilled big, because he just he's a center with the ball on the string, and it's ridiculous. Like literally, with the ball on the string, the passes he's able to make, the vision he has on the court, puts him leaps ahead of just the most dominant center. You may take dominance, but I will take skill. Because with skill, you don't have to be dominant because you have that level that you can hit and that you can make everybody around you better and still be the best player on the court. Mm-hmm. With dominance, you're just going to be best scoring. You know what I mean? You could be maybe the best defender, dominant center. But if you're skilled, you can make everybody else better. And that's what separates skill from dominance, in my opinion. And Jokic has that LeBron effect where he just can uplift the team with his passing ability. And he does it night in and night out. And if you watch it, it's very exciting. I mean, like, some people are like, oh, I don't really like the passing. And you may not see it to the naked eye, but you're like, damn, like, that was just the right pass there. You know what I mean? Even if it's not a behind the back pass, it's not a between the legs pass, even though he can do those, it's not an over the head pass. He's not launching the ball 50 feet down the court. But just the type of passing that he's able to do is just smart passes, just smart basketball. His basketball intelligence, even though he's slow, is high. It's very high.
Yeah.
Is very high. And then that's not even just talking to, okay, so, we've been talking about this for a minute now. We say that the top 4 players, on this list, have 2 skills, Mm-hmm. Jokic is not just a passer. He can also score very well.
Yes.
He's one of those big men, like, it doesn't look pretty when he shoots the ball, but you got to respect it.
Goes in.
You got to respect it. You have to respect it. And so now you have a big guy, right, who you have really taken and made him the centerpiece of your team. Like, he's your guy. Like, the team is built around him at this point. And he carves the defense up so well with his passing ability. And then now you have to respect him from long range as well. And in the post. Because he's going to hit you with the slowest footwork, but there's nothing you can do about it.
True.
Yep. Jokic, number 3.
Yeah. I agree, man. I think Jokic, number 3, and I really think that his ability to score is good. Yeah, he can shoot a three really well. He can post and get really nice buckets, right? He has good post game. He has good post skill. He can shoot a mid range shot, but his passing is just so beyond special. Like
Yeah.
Rajon Rondo, LeBron James, CP3, like this guy is in that group. Now I wouldn't say he's like
Mhm.
top of the group, but when we think about guys recently that have just been great manipulators of defenses and world class passers, him at
Yeah.
Luca too, right? Like this guy's on this list, right? Like
Mhm.
he is beyond special at passing, and you pair that with also he's a good rebounder. Sure, is he not a good defender? Yes. Is he maybe a below average defender? Yes. He really tries on defense. He really does. He's a high
Mhm.
basketball IQ guy. He's limited athletically, so that's why he's not an average or above average or good or great or best defender in the league. Athletic limitations there, but beyond special offensively, just his passing and his scoring and how efficient. Like he has a world class shot selection as well, and you
Mhm.
pair all those things, the three things together, and you get the third best player in the NBA. And I think it's the best center in the NBA, and it's close between him and Embiid. And I feel like all time top 10 list, he's gonna be in there. I feel like he's gonna be in there. I wouldn't have him above Kareem or Shaq or Hakeem, but we talk about Dave Robinson, maybe, right? Like he could be in that kind of conversation there.
Yeah.
So I really think he's special.
Without further ado,
Alright.
the last one.
Last but not least, the fourth best player in the NBA, Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid is a fucking horse. Godzilla, the Hulk. He's huge.
Yeah.
He makes normal centers look small. Like I watched him play against
Mhm.
Jared Allen, who's a normal center in the NBA, and I was like, Jesus Christ, Jared Allen can't do anything against this guy. He's huge. Okay. Plays with great strength, phenomenal post guy. He's a phenomenal mid-range guy. He has his own shot creation for himself. He can shoot the three-point shot. He doesn't live and die on the three-point line like he used to, right? He's
Yeah.
playing very forcibly in the post. He may not be a great passer, but if you double him, he'll make the right read, right? Like he's learned how to deal with a double, how to make the okay, good pass, right? And I feel like he should get credit for that. He's always in the DPOY top 10 best defender in the league kind of conversation. He kind of defends like Marc Gasol, where it's like high intelligence, great blocking, phenomenal shot blocker at the rim. He really brings it on both ends. World class rebounder as well. And you put all those three things together with a guy who averages 30 points a game and can shot create for himself and is a tough shot creator for himself and plays with so much force and there's so much gravitational pull to him inside. Embiid's four. Embiid's four because of the greatness of Embiid. You put all those things together and get number 4. All right, Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, definitely a great player. I would say when it comes to centers, right? If Jokic is the most skilled, then Embiid is the most dominant.
Yeah.
The most dominant center. I would give that to him. He's just so dominant.
Yes.
I mean, he has taken the blueprint of the center and not saying that, okay, he still has that old school feel to him, right? So he can like go down low, he can dominate down low. But if you're not careful, he can stretch the floor, he can stretch out at least to the free throw line. You know what I mean? And be consistent out there. Maybe long two, maybe, kind of top of the key-ish, and knock down shots and really make you look foolish. He's one of those big guys who really can put the ball down, shot create for himself, and really dominate you from so many different aspects, scoring-wise, on the floor. And there's nothing you can do about it. And then don't let me get it started if he wants to play defense on you. What can you do? Like you said, he's like one of the bigger centers, and he's also strong, and he's kind of jacked up as well. So it's like when he's on the floor, when he's healthy, and when he's playing at the MVP level that we thought he was playing at last year, but Jokic still got the MVP.
Sure.
He can be the best center in the league. He is like it's really a toss up. That's why we have him 3 and 4 because it's another one of those that can be a toss up. It's close. It's close. Hairs. If Embiid somehow, some way, I don't know, went to train with Rajon Rondo or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. And he was able just to get a glimmer, a sliver, I would say, a sliver of like the basketball intelligence that Rajon Rondo added and was able to pass at, say, 30%. Then I think that there will be that the total package of Embiid might push him above Jokic.
Yeah, true. It'd be really interesting. These two guys,
It'd be really
both of these
interesting.
both of these two guys are top 10 centers all time. We're it's so funny, and I've said it before, I'll say it again. It's ridiculous that the best two centers since Shaq are both playing at their peak at the same time. Like, we rarely get to see that. Like, for example, Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett are drafted like within a year of each other, right? And Dirk's drafted within like a few years of that, where we get that great power forward era, right? Like, it's rare as a basketball fan that we get to see these guys go head to head like this. And these guys are special. I mean,
very.
In the talks with both of them were talks with Moses Malone, David Robinson. They're both better than Dwight Howard by a million miles. All times. I can't. Bill Russell, but we think Bill Russell's overrated, so doesn't score more than 20 points a game. Blah 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 blah. Right? I really feel like this guy is special, Chris. Yeah,
I can agree. I can agree with that, and that is all we have for today. I just want to say thank you all for listening. Yep. Like I said in the beginning, if you agree with our list, all power to you. We still want to hear from you. If you don't agree with our list, then shoot. Send us a comment. Fuck off. You know what I mean? oh, never mind. Never mind. He said, the person listening to this right now is doing the shit. What did he say? Fuck me for? But just you agree, you disagree. We love to hear from you.
Right. Exactly.
Definitely do love to hear from you.
Don't listen to me. Listen to Chris.
So once again, just thank you all for listening. Thank you for making this episode and these podcasts and this platform special. This is our platform. This is for the casuals and for the non-casuals who just enjoy and love the game of basketball. Yeah. So we're going to keep kicking out content for you. I know it's been kind of slow lately, but I promise things will start moving at the same pace as it was before. I'm Chris Muhammad.
I'm Jason Collins.
And we are the Basketball Peace.